What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Resident Evil 4 Remake Game Boy for you. And today I'm going to be talking about the headlines that made news yesterday of the possibility that 5 Resident Evil projects are currently being developed by Capcom as we speak. Now, all credit goes to Retro to Hero, basically bringing up this news from a post by, you guessed it, Dusk Golem, who, if you don't know who that is one of these leakers that has been, he's got a solid track record, so it's not some random guy on the internet who just popped up yesterday and just posting a bunch of BS, because this is the only reason why I even give this any credence of the possibility that it is true. But yeah, Dusk Golem basically is a leaker who's been kind of correct lately about Resident Evil in particular. He was right about when Separate Ways being bigger than the original Separate Ways, as well as when it was going to come out, etc. So he does have a little bit of credibility. But nonetheless, I always say take this with a grain of salt. It's not like this is a confirmation, but it is, I guess, fun and interesting to talk about nonetheless. But I don't think the weird part is that there are games being worked on in Resident Evil. I mean, that's no surprise, obviously. I think the weird part is that there is 5, if this is to be true. But let's, have a little fun. Let's say, hey, it is true. So let's go over the obvious ones, because there are obvious ones that we can just about guarantee that we know they're being worked on, and then there's some ones which are going to kind of blend the line of what I think they're going to work on and what I hope they're going to work on, because sometimes we kind of mix the two together. But let's have some fun. Let's get the obvious one out of the way just so we can get into this. The obvious one they're working on is Resident Evil 9. Now, 9 has been apparently in development, according to Dusk Golem, ironically, the longest, and is apparently still going to be the biggest, most ambitious Resident Evil game ever released. That's all that he's posted on that, and when it's going to come out, I think he was also the guy that brought up that it's going to come out 2025, so that's next year, which would line up pretty perfectly. I don't think there's anything fishy or outrageous about that, because according to him, this game's been worked on since 2018, so yeah, it's been a good 6-7 years just about. So yeah, but that's one that I don't think anyone's surprised. That's not a surprise. That's not a reach by any stretch of the imagination. But nonetheless, Resident Evil 9, that's a gimme. The other one, I can say this is just about a gimme too, would be Resident Evil 5 Remake. I mean, after the ending of Resident Evil 4, as well as the ending of Separate Ways with Resident Evil 4 Remake, it seems like, they're going to go right into Resident Evil 5 Remake, and I don't think that's going to be too much of a stretch either. Even though some people might have wanted to see something else before then, it looks like Resident Evil 5 Remake is going to be a next of the remakes. But that still leaves 3 other games, and once again, I say earlier, it's kind of going to blend into what you want to see and what you think is going to see. And that leaves me with the next option. Now, I'm not saying that this is impossible. It's not impossible, but it just seems less likely as time goes on, simply because we just haven't really heard anything. And when it comes to Capcom, they don't really speak too much about this game, and it's a shame, because it's definitely the one of the remakes that people want to see the most from the fans, but it's like they just, I don't know, they treat it like it's the redheaded stepchild of the family, or it's, funny joke I have now with a certain character from that game, they treat one of the main particular characters of it, Claire Redfield, like she's the Ronnie Dangerfield of the Resident Evil universe, and that's the Code Veronica remake. Now, as I said, I'm not saying that it's off the table. It's clear not. They can still do it. I just always felt like it'd be weird to do it at this point in time, and why it seems like it's less likely, just from the fact that, remember, Code Veronica takes place after Resident Evil 3, but well before Resident Evil 4. So if they were going to do it, they should have done it after Resident Evil 3, but no, they went straight to Resident Evil 4. So it'd be kind of weird. It wouldn't be weird to us, the fans who know the timelines and stuff, but for newer fans, it'd be kind of weird to be like, hey, you did Resident Evil 2 remake, you did Resident Evil 3 remake, then you did Resident Evil 4 remake, and now you're going backwards in time to Resident Evil Code Veronica remake. Like, it'd be just kind of weird. But you could also argue, hey, it'd be weird to do Resident Evil 5 remake, and you see Chris, and then the fans who haven't played the original wonder, hey, did he ever meet up with Claire or something like that? But yeah, we all want to see Code Veronica. It's definitely the most wanted, and probably the one that needs it the most of all the games in Resident Evil in terms of a remake. But I don't know, man. I don't know. That's more maybe hopeful than thinking they're going to do it, but I'll leave it in the slot for now. The other two are more, I guess what I would personally like to see. But if this is to be believed that there's 5 games, they got to be something. And one of these things I think a lot of people have been asking for a while, and I feel like they should do it. And it would actually coincide with videos I've been making in the past month. Is they got to make like a something, maybe it isn't called this, but something on the lines of a Revelations 3. Like I've been talking about how there's been going to be a lot of one and done characters in the Resident Evil universe in the past month. The Carloses, the Shevas, the Jessicas, the Billies, etc., etc., etc. And I'm thinking, man, how would it be cool to have these characters come back in a meaningful way? And a Revelations 3 like title would be a perfect way to bring back a lot of these characters, as well as have some others. But just bring them back and tie some loose ends up. And I feel like Revelations 3 would be like the perfect thing to do that. And not to mention, they also have that cool, they can have a cool, modernized version of the raid mode bring back. I always like the raid mode. It's one of my personal favorites. But nonetheless, it would be a perfect thing. And as well as you can use it to maybe lead into the possibility of Resident Evil 9. I don't know when it's going to take place, but, that would be something I personally would want to see from a lot of perspectives. The last game, now this is one I think everyone can agree on this list. I know we keep thinking of new titles and remakes, but this is something I'm still questioning why Capcom has never, ever, why they haven't done this. I mean, it would be printing money for Capcom. I don't think anyone would be arguing this. They would be printing money. It'd be too easy. Are they not doing it because it's too easy? Did they just want some type of like challenge or something? Well, if they want that, well, they can take it a step further because they're going to do this with it's about to release in a couple weeks, the Tomb Raider Collection Pass, where, it's not just the original titles. They also updated the things. You can go to the original look and the old look, but you also have different ways to play, the old controls, the modern controls. They also added some new levels to it. They could do that route. If you don't know what I'm getting to with Resident Evil, why have they never released a Resident Evil collection, classic collection of 1, 2, and 3, and released it on today's console generation? Like, why have they not done that? That's like printing money. It's too easy. Like, it's simply easy. They don't even have to do the extra mile of adding. Maybe they add some like new things to it or some costumes or something like that. They could just release the same exact thing, just make it run in today's standards. But like my point being is like it would be printing money because people have been asking for the classic version of these games because some people they're not able to play the classic versions of these games, and this would just make it a lot easier for them to pick it up and play it and experience for the first time and see what the OG fans have always been talking about, why they like the OG version of these games more than the remakes, and also give a different perspective. But having the classics and respecting them, it's just like, why have they never done that? I'll never understand that. Look what they're doing with Tomb Raider. You don't even they go to that stretch of the means, but if they do, more power to them. But it's just something that's always baffled me. And if I had to have a game that didn't make the list, me personally, I'd probably say another attempt at Resident Evil Outbreak, whether it be a remake of Outbreak or maybe even a brand new title. I've even heard like, hey, combine 1 and 2 together or something like that. But I like to see them do Resident Evil Outbreak in today's world and see how much fun they can make it. Even though I am still a little bit leery of Capcom and online stuff because, yeah, they don't have the greatest track record in online things of Resident Evil in the past few years. But nonetheless, as I always like to say, that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. If this is to be believed to be true, and there are 5 games, obviously Resident Evil 9 is the one that you can 100% confirm without a shadow of a doubt. What other games would you think they're going to be making, or which ones would you personally like to see? Let me know down in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.